Thank you for watching. I'm the advocate for injured workers at the New York State Workers' Compensation Board. I'll explain some important information that'll help employees access their workers' compensation benefits if they've been affected by COVID-19 due to their employment. Since 1914, the board has responded to outbreaks and chronic injuries by ensuring claims are quickly handled and benefits are promptly paid. From diseases such as tuberculosis and asbestosis to the tragedy of 9/11 and the opioid crisis, the board has always risen to meet the needs of injured workers. COVID-19 is no exception. The question we hear most often from workers is, can I receive workers' compensation benefits if I get COVID-19 while working? Yes, you may receive workers' compensation benefits in New York State due to COVID-19 exposure while working. It will depend on the facts of your claim. I'd like to say right away, though, that immigration status is not a factor in the workers' compensation system. Let's look at the potential benefits. Workers' compensation provides payment of an injured worker's medical treatment for a work-related illness or injury. It provides wage replacement benefits if your illness prevents you from working. In the event of death, there are benefits for an employee's surviving family or estate. Reimbursement of funeral expenses are also payable up to a cap. We have details on these benefits on our website, wcb.ny.gov. We will refer to the website a few more times. Let's talk about the information one may need to show a COVID-19 claim is work-related. Most workers won't be able to point to a moment when they were exposed to COVID-19, nor will they be able to pinpoint a method of exposure. However, in pursuing their claim, workers can demonstrate the significantly elevated risk in their workplace. They can show the nature and extent of their work in an environment where COVID-19 exposure was prevalent. People who work in environments where exposure risks are significantly higher are more likely to have COVID-19 claims that are payable, or as we call them, compensable. Some employees work closely with the public in places with documented exposure to COVID-19. These employees include, but are not limited to, healthcare workers and first responders, transportation workers, corrections officers, and food service and retail workers. Again, these are examples. Any worker who believes he or she contracted COVID-19 due to employment should file a claim. If you file a claim, provide details about where you work, how often you work, and your job duties, especially those involving public contact. You should have a medical report from an authorized workers' comp provider stating that your work caused your illness. Share your workplace details with that provider. A positive test result is best. A medical report from an authorized provider showing a diagnosis via a PCR test or by examination may also be used in your claim. Now I'll walk through the filing process. Step 1. Tell your employer that you're sick as soon as possible. Tell your employer in writing. Email or a document are the best methods. Try not to send a text message if you can avoid it because they're difficult to find and reproduce. Step 2. Fill out the employee claim, known as the C3 form. Online filing is fastest. You can send a paper form to the board, and the address is on the form. The C3 is on our website in multiple languages. Our web address is on screen. Now let's talk about the medical reports. You can see any doctor in an emergency. Otherwise, see a doctor authorized to treat workers' compensation patients. File your positive COVID-19 test result. The doctor can file it, or you can file it if you have it. If you got your test result by telephone, get a written copy of it and file that. Tell your treating doctor if you believe you contracted COVID-19 while at work. Explain to the doctor the details of your workplace that we discussed earlier. The doctor will send the report to the insurance company and to the board. You can find board-authorized providers on our website. You can now access doctors via video or telephone where appropriate. This is known as telemedicine. So what happens if you file a claim? The workers' comp insurance company or administrator will review your claim. This insurer actually pays your benefits. The board, my employer, receives all the claim records. If it's accepted, your COVID-19 claim will be compensable or payable. If there's a claim dispute, a judge at the Workers' Compensation Board will make a decision. The judge will listen to testimony from you and your medical provider and will get the facts about your workplace, whether you were exposed to COVID-19, the extent of your exposure, and whether exposure was prevalent in your workplace, for example. Report your illness to your employer because your employer should immediately tell its insurer that you're ill due to your employment. The insurer must act on the claim and begin paying benefits, if it accepts it, within 18 days of the incident or 10 days from notice, whichever is later. As claims are received, the board makes every effort to move them as quickly as possible. If there are disputes, the board holds any hearings as necessary to ensure benefits are promptly paid and workers can continue supporting their families. Help is available. We are here for you. My office, the Office of the Advocate for Injured Workers, can help you access your benefits. We can explain what's happening and help move your claim along. If there's a fatality, we work with the families on filing their claim. Our contact information is on screen. We are open and have been throughout this pandemic. On our website, you'll find all the information in this presentation in a fact sheet, as well as other actions the board is taking in response to COVID-19. Thank you for what you're doing to keep New York State running and to keep us all safe and healthy. Speaking on behalf of the Workers' Compensation Board, we all wish you the best of health. Stay strong.